Hi people, Corvus here. In this short video I want to show you how you can fill the gap in a slottabase, because sometimes you don't want to put a miniature with the tab on the bottom in the base, but you want to, for example, pin the base or just cut off this tab and pin the miniature on the base, or just without a pin. So sometimes it's useful to fill the gap. Now there's actually a very simple technique for it which I use, and it uses a toothpick. So first thing we're gonna do is simply measure how long the gap is. I'm just scoring this with a knife to mark the length. It doesn't have to be very precise. It's best that it's a bit smaller than too big. Okay, then I'm using this to cut the toothpick and fit it. You see, it's a bit too small, but that's not really a problem. Now we're going to use some super glue. Put it on one side of the space, the empty space. And then glue the toothpick in place. You want to make sure that it's not raised above the surface of the base, but slightly below it. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now we're gonna let this dry. Alright, in this second step we're going to fill up the rest of the base. Now if you just want to, for example, glue sand on the base, then it's already possible to do that. So with some PVA glue, for example, and then glue on a good layer of sand, and then it's also covered the small gap we still have left on the sides. But to achieve a smooth surface, I prefer to use filler, also known as a putty. I prefer the Revel one. I don't know if it's available everywhere, but where I live it's a pretty common brand of modeling tools. Of course, Tamiya, for example, has some, and also own the Italeri one, but I prefer to work with the Revel one. The easiest way to apply this on a surface is by using a screwdriver, a flat screwdriver, which you won't need afterwards for screwing. I mean, also be sure to have some paper towel, because sometimes it can get messy. Alright, open this up. Now, when we open the putty for the first time, after a while of storage, you sometimes notice that there's some watery substance. It's actually the solvent on top of the tube. So it's best to do a bit of mixing first. I feel it has been hardening up here, so I'm going to clear it up first. Then just use the screwdriver to mix it a bit like this. Okay, then you take some on the screwdriver and just put it on top of the base, like this. You have to take into account that it is going to shrink a slight bit, so just put enough on it, especially on the sides where we still had the small gaps. Okay, too much. Okay, like this. Don't worry too much about the surface itself, because once this is dry, which can take a few hours, we're just going to use some sanding paper to sand it off. Oops. You already see it's shrinking a bit already. maybe getting into the width of the toothpick, so I'm going to take a bit more. Alright, that's about enough. Now it's important to clean your tools and the tip of the tube as fast as possible, because once this stuff is hard, yeah, it's as hard as plastic almost. So now we're going to let this dry and then use some sanding paper to create a smooth surface. Now this last step is very easy. We're going to use some sanding paper to create a smooth surface on the base on which we've used the filler. Yeah, just put it on a flat surface and start sanding. Now you want to make sure that the putty is completely dry, so preferably let this cure overnight. Like this. Voila, almost done. Now, as soon as you start seeing the material on the sanding paper getting a bit gray, it means that you're sanding the plastic instead of the putty, and your base is done. So it's very smooth and yeah, easy to do, I think. Just a bit on the side here. That's it. Bye.